Welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And as I say on this program very regularly, there are many people and many things that affect business. And one of those people and one of those things are folks in elected office. Elected officials have a lot to do with small business and enabling business to be successful. So my next guest is a fellow who has joined me on the air in the past, and he is running as a Democrat for clerk of the circuit court here in Cook County. Jacob Meister, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Jacob, you are running for a very important office, but an office that some people, perhaps non-attorneys, don't know a lot about. But I know you believe that everybody should know and emphasize the importance of this office. Let's talk about why.
Well, absolutely. So there's on the ballot, you're going to have two county-wide constitutional offices. One is state's attorney and the other is clerk of the circuit court. The current clerk, Dorothy Brown, has decided to retire, so she's not going to be running. It's an open seat. I did run for this office 4 years ago. I'm a practicing lawyer, and amazingly, even though I've got three opponents, none of them have practiced regularly in the Cook County courts. And the Cook County courts are the second largest court system in the country, having almost 400 judges in courtrooms that do everything from, deal with the business matters, chancery and law divisions, but also child custody, child support, foreclosures, evictions, criminal matters, handling all the traffic tickets. So it really impacts a lot of people. There's about 1.5 million cases that are filed in the circuit court every year. And the clerk's job is to make sure that the trains run on time.
Well, it's an important office, and that's a staggering number. And many in business, and I'm just going to focus on that category,
Sure.
Although families have to deal with the court system, fortunately or unfortunately, quite regularly. But small business owners, there's a term that we know regularly, which is small claims. And small claims, I don't mean to degrade the job of an attorney, but small claims, sometimes small businesses cannot afford to hire an attorney. Mm-hmm. And it's virtually impossible to navigate the system if you don't if you don't have an attorney. How do you plan to change the office to embrace technology, as well as to make the office perhaps accessible or more accessible to litigants that don't have an attorney?
Right. Well, that is my plan. I've got 4 parts to my plan. Actually, I printed it out. I have it right here in front of me. People can check it out on my website, jacobforclerk.com. But it involves modernization, customer service, transparency, and access to justice. And you hit the nail on the head when you talked about people who don't have lawyers. Pro se litigants is what they're called, having an impossible time navigating the court system. The Supreme Court recently mandated electronic filing, and that system has made things a little bit more efficient because you can electronically file documents into the court system, but it's a very cumbersome system, and folks who don't regularly practice have a lot of difficulty accessing and filing documents online. What I want to do is bring it into everybody's neighborhood so that we can have in every single public library in this county access points, so computer kiosks for filing, and work to train librarians so that they can help you, individuals who aren't represented by lawyers, navigate just the mechanics of getting documents filed, opening up a small claim, defending a small claim, child custody, eviction, foreclosure, whatever, probate, whatever it is. What you need to do, you should be able to do it in your own neighborhood, not have to go to a courthouse between 9 and 5 on a work day just to file simple paperwork.
So sort of expanding the brick and mortar of the court system and embracing technology and embracing partnerships to make it more accessible.
Exactly. And the library boards that I've talked to about this are absolutely delighted because libraries fulfill very important functions these days to provide services like access to courts.
And how large is the office in terms of employees and in terms of dollars and cents?
Well, the office has a budget of $120 million and approximately 1,500 employees, and so it's a massive system. It's a massive undertaking. I know the listeners are familiar with some of the problems that Dorothy Brown's had, both operationally and ethically. And that's going to be another challenge that we have to clean up, is to ethically make sure this office is operating in a clean manner. Recent reports are that the current clerk has been selling jobs. So this is selling public jobs. The most recent allegation is $15,000 for a job being sold for cash at the corner bakery across the street from the Daily Center. So that's going to be one of those. The ethics issues are going to be a big challenge to take care of too. And this is an office that the entrenched political machine would love to continue to hold on to. But I'm saying we got to come in. My motto is we got to have a court system that's accessible, navigable, efficient for all stakeholders, with minimal bureaucratic or political interference.
Well, Jacob Meister, running for candidate for Cook County Clerk of Court, will be right back with me, and we'll talk about why you. We'll be right back.
Okay.
384 AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We're powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. Give them a call, 630-928-0510, or check out their website, tandemhr.com. So I'm chatting with Jacob Meister, Democrat for Clerk of the Circuit Court. And Jacob, you've been talking about your 4-part plan to improve the office, and there are other people that are running. As you said, the incumbent has decided to retire. She's been around for a long time, and it's time for some change. Everybody can agree with that. But why are you the one that should make the change?
Well, as I mentioned, it's the second largest court system in the country, and it is a very complex court system. And I'm the only one who's actually practiced regularly in the circuit court. I've been doing it for 30 years. And I think there's a recognition that whoever the next clerk is needs to have intimate knowledge and understanding of all the divisions and how they operate. It's making sure the trains run on time. That's what it's about. And without that background in our courts, it'll be impossible for one of my opponents to do. In addition, this is an office that has been so steeped in machine politics. This office has been used as a patronage den by everyone from Michael Madigan on down for decades and decades and decades, and that's part of the ethical problems that the office has had, filled with pay to play. And ethically, I'm proud to say I'm endorsed by some of the best good government folks out there, because David Orr among them, because they realize that this office is going to need serious reform, and I'm the one to do it. All of my opponents are entrenched politicians who are looking to get to the next higher office. I have committed to staying in this office if elected until I retire.
So you are the reform candidate. You are an attorney that's running. Let's talk about the technology piece of it. You talked about part of your plan to help make the office more accessible to both business owners as well as individuals, families that might need to access the office without hiring expensive attorneys and sort of bringing about profits to the legal industry, which I know you are a part of, but yet you are campaigning with that experience of being an attorney to bring it to the office. Technology is really important. What individual or what level individual would you bring to that office that is such a massive office in terms of employees and dollars and cents to bring about technology reform to the office?
Well, court systems all across this country have embraced technology. Not in Cook County. Judges and lawyers still handwrite out orders by hand in triplicate using carbon paper. And that really causes a broken system, because everybody who relies on information, is you have to step back in time in order to get information from the clerk's office. So for instance, if I want a court document, a record, I have to go to a courthouse, order it, get a copy of it on paper, and then I can scan it into my office system. We need to have downloadable, web-accessible files so that the way the rest of the world works is how the clerk's office works. And that means, when you have this paper block in the system, which it is, that means that our Department of Corrections, our state's attorney, our private litigants, our public defender, the sheriff's department, everybody who relies on information out of the clerk's office has to do it in a manual sort of way. So it creates great inefficiency for everyone all the way down the line. So other courts have utilized case management systems. Cook County does not have a robust case management system, a modern case management system. There's currently $36 million, which has been allocated for case management system. They've identified a provider by the name of Tyler Technologies, which has a system called Odyssey. It's a system that a lot of other courts around the country use, but they've also had lots and lots of problems with. The L.A. courts, the Los Angeles courts, which are the largest court system, it took about 5 or 6 years of major, major problems before they got it right with Tyler Technologies.
So if you were elected to the office, would you revisit that contract?
Well, that contract is that's already left the station. So I'm going to be sad. Whoever takes over this office is going to be saddled with the Tyler Odyssey system. But we can learn from what the Los Angeles courts did, which is to highly customize it, because the Tyler system, while it may be good for some small court systems, say in South Dakota, when you move it into a massive court system the size of Cook County, where we have these highly specialized courts and divisions with each having their own operating needs, you have to customize your software to meet the way that the courts work, and that is going to be the challenge: is to work with the folks that I already know, the lawyers, the judges, all of the stakeholders, make sure that we're providing accessible information to all 135 police departments around Cook County, to the Department of Corrections, everybody who relies on information into and out of the court system needs to be a partner in this transformation process.
Well, it's a 4-part plan that you have: modernization, transparency, customer service, and access to justice. And I've focused heavily on the modernization and access. But you have a plan. The only attorney that's running, or the only attorney with a lot of experience, recent experience, running for the office of Clerk of the Circuit Court. Jacob Meister, how can people find you?
They can find me on the web at jacobforclerk.com. That's the word for, so Jacob, F-O-R, clerk.com. I'm going to be number 145 on the ballot. People are already early voting. If you haven't early voted, you can save time in line by doing it early. So
jacobforclerk.com. That's where you can find out more information about the campaign. Jacob Meister, thanks for joining me on the air.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be back and get down to business with a couple of wrap-up tips, advice, and information.